Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Cassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the Ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be doing the daily reading for Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. And today is a day that's ruled by the third eye and guided by endlessness. And today is a galactic activation portal according to the galactic calendar. And so on these days, we want to remain as receptive as possible. We want to take good care of our physical bodies, good care of our mental, our emotional, our spiritual bodies, especially the physical body, because we do have a lot of light coming in. And as we are receiving these activations and upgrades, it can be a little bit tiring for the physical vessel. And so just really taking care of ourselves today, honoring ourselves, honoring the process that we are undergoing, and being open and receptive. This is a great day to communicate, to play in the astral realms, to do all of these different things, because we have that much even stronger of a connection than we normally do. And as we know, that connection is always strong, right? But especially strong on days like today. And I did miss the video yesterday. I was off having my second combo treatment, which was amazing and very, very intense. And so I'm back again today. I missed you guys. I love you guys so much. I do want to mention that yesterday was the beginning of a new wave spell. And that wave spell was the red magnetic serpent energy. And so for the next 13 days, there is going to be an overriding theme of energy, of really connecting in with our bodies, right? The red serpent energy is all about our instinct. It's about our life force. It's about our kundalini energy. And it's about really tapping into, dropping into our physical vessels, paying attention to them, enjoying them, and all the different things that they allow us to experience and express. And so we're working with that energy, with that beautiful primal life force energy as we go through the next 13 days. And then today, with this white lunar world bridger energy, we're looking at the energy of DEATH. Right? We're looking at this, especially when we're utilizing the lunar tone, which is all about CHALLENGE and contrast, right? It's about polarity. And so we're really noticing all of the, we'll go with it again. We'll call them the big C's. All of those big C's are really opportunities, right? They're opportunities for us to learn, opportunities for us to grow. And so noticing all the ways where we are experiencing the big C in our lives today, and how that is an opportunity for us to evolve and for us to grow, right? We want to look at DEATH, and we'll call that the big D. We want to look at the big D as this force that brings us all together, right? That really unifies us in a way, because we all know, at least in this physical incarnation, that the big D is an inevitability. As we move forward in our ascension process, we're also going to see how we can delay that, and we can decide when that time comes for us, when it is time for us to transition into another form, right? Because we do actually have that choice. It's just, there's a lot of misinformation that informs our belief systems, that informs our collective reality. So as we shift from that energy will be a bit different. We'll experience it a bit differently. However, even then, eventually it will come. Eventually we will transition. And so knowing that we're going to transition really makes us appreciate this experience that much more. And it makes it that much more impactful, because we know that it's not going to last forever. We as souls last forever. But this specific incarnation and this specific experience, as the person that we are right now, right? And I say that truly, we are not any of this, right? But as the role that we are playing and experiencing, this only lasts for so long. And so that really makes us treasure it. This energy is also the energy about looking at what in your life needs to meet the big D. And so this is, I'm sorry, you guys, it cracks me up sometimes. Right? What needs to transition, transmute, and transform? What are we ready to leave behind so that we can step into this next phase of our life's journey, so that we can continue to evolve? And so it's noticing those things. And those things may be brought to our attention through the big C today. Right? With that lunar tone, right? It's that energy of contrast that really may creep into our lives to show us what needs to go, what has outlived its purpose. And so when we have any of these energies coming up, we really want to pay attention to them. And we want to think about it. We want to utilize the power of that contrast and be like, okay, So without this thing, what might my life look like? And what does my life look like with this thing? And which one of those feels better? Right? We're getting the opportunity to see that. We're really getting to notice the things that don't feel good so that we can shift them if that is what we are wanting to do. And in the wake of this full moon, we're really seeing and noticing these things. And the astrology plays into this very, very well right now. We have that a lot of things have came to our attention leading up to and with the culmination of that full moon. We're still in the energy of that right now. We still have this alignment going on with the Sun, Venus, and Chiron all conjunct. And today we have Mars and Saturn sextiling this connection. And so this is really big energy because Mars and Saturn together are saying like, okay, so you realize some things, you're understanding some things are being made clear. So what are we going to do about it? Right? That's the energy when these two planets come together. What are we going to do about it? What ACTION are we going to take in order to shift this and change this? Right? It's all about the personal responsibility that we have for our own manifestations, for our own creations, for our own experience in this lifetime, in this particular journey, right? What is ready to change and shift, and where do we factor into that, right? Where does surrender factor into that? Because this White World Bridger energy is definitely about surrender, but where does ACTION factor into this as well? And so really weighing those things out and noticing that. We're also, with this T-square that we have going on today between the moon, Saturn, and Uranus, and the moon right now in the sign of Scorpio, which is a very intense sign. It's very much about digging below the surface, right? The shadow, the subconscious, all of that stuff. And so we're really being asked to be honest with ourselves about what it is that we want. What is it that you want? What is it that you desire? What is the truth? What is the truth in the situations around you? And what is the truth within yourself? And then from that place, we are being guided to ACT. And so just really noticing that and where that's showing up in your life today, where you're being asked to surrender and where it is that you're being asked to take ACTION. And sometimes that ACTION is the surrender and vice versa. Right? If we've been putting something off that we know is the best for us because we just don't think we're ready, we don't necessarily want to do it, we know that ultimately it's going to lead to good things, but the journey may be a bit uncomfortable, then the surrender is to take the ACTION, right? The resistance is to continue to not do that. And for some of us, it's that in ACTION that is what's appropriate today. So really noticing and judging for us what it is within our reality that is wanting to shift and what part we are meant to play in that is like the shortest way to say that, I guess. And really being honest with ourselves and true to ourselves, right? That's what we've been learning to do. That's what this conjunction of Venus, the Sun, and Chiron is asking us to do. That's what a lot of these energies have been asking us to do, is to stay true to us. What is true in your heart of hearts, and really move with that energy. Not what is true for other people, what is true for you. All right. I'm actually wanting to grab some Earth Magic cards today. All right, so clear. What do the Earth Magic cards have to say? Okay, interesting. So we have the Whale, Breach. We have Green Man, Synergy. And we have the Cave, Sanctuary. All right, so let's check these out here. I love the Green Man, of course. This is always, it doesn't matter what deck we use, we always have that energy of nature coming in, which is absolutely beautiful because we are always, anytime that we feel even the slightest bit disconnected from ourselves, from the world, go out in nature and reconnect. Nature, Mother Earth is always ready and willing to help you with that. Anytime that you feel disconnected from your human experience, right? Anytime that you feel ungrateful for being here. And we all do sometimes because we know, like, the School of Earth is one of the hardest schools there is in the entire galaxy. It is not a simple journey down here. It is probably one of the most rewarding because the big C is present, right? Is present everywhere until we begin to recognize it as the opportunity. And even when we recognize it as an opportunity, that doesn't always mean that everything is simple, right? Or it is simple, but it doesn't always mean that it feels simple and it feels easy. There's a lot There's a lot that we go through down here. There's a lot of different variables that we have to account for. And that's why I'm actually loving this red serpent energy, because this is the thing that I struggle with quite a bit, or I was struggling with. I am moving out of that energy now, right? We want to be careful how we say things, how we phrase them. And so I'm not going to say that I'm saying I once struggled with and am learning how to come into balance and harmony around. And that's just having a physical body. Like, there's a lot of big C's in this third dimensional universe, this third dimensional reality that we decided to incarnate into. But simply having a human body can sometimes be a big C, because there's so much that goes into caring for it. Like, it is a miraculous thing, but it still needs a lot of assistance from us too, right? It has a lot of demands. And so even just in that simple way, it can sometimes, so this energy is a beautiful opportunity to shift that and to really come into a reverence and an appreciation and a respect for our bodies. And as these incredible vehicles that we are navigating, this incredibly complex reality that we decided to come here and experience. So I don't know, that was a whole little tangent there, but whenever I go off on tangents, there's somebody that needs to hear it. So we're going to trust it. All right, so this is about taking a break. Not just a coffee break, but a respite from the usual environment you find yourself in. That trip you wanted to take, go for it. Tired of being indoors? Make it a point to get outside. Okay, and with the Green Man card after this, for a lot of people, this take a break and take a trip is like take a break and get back out in nature again. All right, but for other people, it could be whatever. Mixing it up. For some people, this is just guidance to mix it up in whatever way you can. Do something out of the ordinary. And we've been talking about this a lot lately, right? When we do something out of the ordinary, when we add a little spontaneity into our day, then that gives us more opportunity for new and different experiences to happen. But for a lot of people, especially with breach energy and then sanctuary coming out, this is very much about whatever's going on right now. Your spirit's saying, like, you need a little bit of a vacation. You need to give yourself a break, go out into nature, find your sanctuary. And if nature's not your sanctuary, then go wherever that sanctuary is. Wherever it is that you feel connected. Wherever it is that you feel like you can breathe. Where you feel that sense of peace and stillness within you. Take a break, journey to that place, right? And for some people, this doesn't even have to be an outer place. This is an inner place, right? If you're having a busy day today, if you are working and going through just the different hoopla that we go through in this current reality construct, right? And you're not quite able to do that, then just take a few moments to breathe and center into yourself. Find your inner sanctuary. Wherever and however you can find that energy today, find that place because that is going to really help. If you have a question on your mind, it's going to help the answers become more clear. If you're just feeling overwhelmed and stressed, that's going to help with that. I think that there may be a lot of collective anxiety going on today. I was picking up on it earlier and I had to clear myself. I'm learning the lesson of becoming more aware of what energy is mine and what energy isn't. Because a lot of times when I experience an emotion, when I experience a physical sensation, I assume that it belongs to me. And a lot of times I'm being taught it actually doesn't. And so, yeah, I definitely picked up on that energy today and I had to clear that. I had to transmute that. I had to let that go. And so that's another thing. And this may be coming up because other people, it would behoove you to work on this as well. I know there's a lot of empaths and a lot of people who are very connected to others who watch this channel. And so this may be helpful for you as well. If you are picking up on that collective anxiety today, if you are experiencing anything, right? Anything that kind of like pops up and you're just like, whoa, where is this? Where did this come from? Take that time, go to your sanctuary, even if it's just your inner sanctuary, and take some time to sort through that. Does this belong to me? Is this mine? Where is this coming from? You can ask it, why are you here? Right? And then go through that process of releasing it, of imagining sending it back. Sending it to the creator. The creator can instantly transmute that energy for you. And then we have lake stillness on the bottom of the deck. So yeah, that energy of being still today coming through very, very, very strongly. Any other cards here? And just think about a lake, right? In a lake, when the water is still and you look into its depths, you see the reflection very clearly. And so whatever is needing to be seen within you, that reflection will show if you allow yourself to be still. The truth that you are seeking will be reflected back to you. All right, and then we have Tsunami Wake Up Call and DNA Karma coming out. Ooh, so that's intense. That's intense. And so, yeah, honestly, excuse me. And then we have Creation on the bottom of the deck, Dreamtime, and Strength. And so what I'm noticing, or really what I'm feeling here, is that for some people, today is going to be a wake-up call in some ways, because we're going to be noticing, we're really going to be noticing and paying attention to how it is that we're constructing our own realities. How it is that what we're experiencing in our lives is a direct reflection of our own energy. That energy that we talked about at the beginning of the reading, I think, of taking responsibility for our manifestations. And for some people, like, we're not going to like what we see 100%. And this happens to all of us. It doesn't matter how deep into your spiritual process you are. It's like, this is not a thing that's just reserved to the few. This is something that we all experience on one level of another, right? Is when we realize and we understand the way that we are creating energies within our lives. And that can be a bit jarring sometimes, especially when we really spend a lot of time working on ourselves and healing ourselves and trying to be as aware as possible. And then we notice an area that has sort of slipped our awareness. But that's being brought to our attention so that we can heal it, so that we can work through it. And some of this stuff, I also feel like this is the reason we were talking about, is this mine or is this not? We may notice things coming up and we may be like, wait a minute, I don't even understand why I'm having that reaction to this. Or I don't even understand why this feeling or this emotion or this thought or that is coming up within me. It's because it's something that you carry in your DNA. This is something that does not belong to you either. It belongs to your ancestral line, right? Or the collective. But for a lot of people too, it's like it belongs to your ancestral line. And so it's understanding those things too, and understanding that those inherited patterns. And when we can acknowledge that inherited pattern, then we can begin to shift and change it. And if you guys, and that's where this creation comes in, where we become in charge of our creation, right? If you guys want any assistance with this, please reach out to me. We can work through these energies. But yeah, so that's really interesting too, is just noticing where all of that's showing up today. So a lot of energies being brought to our attention. And so we want to take that time to listen, because I'm feeling very strongly right now, if we're not listening to what Spirit is trying to teach us, Spirit is trying to show us, then that's when the tsunami energy comes in. And we don't want this, we don't need the tsunami, right? If we listen and we pay attention sooner, we don't need to be slapped across the face with the energy, right? The message doesn't have to come as loudly. The message gets louder and louder and louder until we answer and respond. And so we want to just be paying attention, taking that time to listen and to really differentiate, where is this coming from? Who is this coming from? And sometimes it is coming from us. Sometimes this is our own karma. Sometimes this is our own energy that's returning back to us, that's being reflected and shown to us. That's the reflection that we're seeing. And that's okay. If it is, then we still go through the same process of healing that, of paying attention. Why is this here? Why is this being shown to me? Why am I repeating this behavior? Why is this energy? Why am I attracting this energy? Right? Like, what is here for me to learn? This is a huge learning and growth process that we are in right now. And this year, I'm going to make a video on the eclipses. I've gone through the 4 eclipses that we're having this year in 2021, and 3 of them are very, very linked in together and are happening in the signs of Gemini and Sagittarius. And so it's really interesting, where we also have the nodes right now. So a lot of energy around belief systems this year, a lot of cleaning up that energy, cleaning up our energy, cleaning up our karma in one sense or another, really clearing out any of these energies that are causing these karmic loops, right? Because these belief systems that we inherit from our ancestors create these karmic loops, because when we inherit that belief system, we naturally, without even realizing we're doing it, reenact that energy. And so until we identify that and we discard that, we can't move beyond that energy. And that's part of what we came here to do. And so people may be noticing some of that stuff coming up right now. And it will be coming up throughout the entirety of 2021. So please reach out to me. The Theta healing that I do can really help with that. The Belvaspata can also assist in that in a different way. And so it's like, how do you want to go about it, and what do you want to do about it, right? Which is what the energy of today is all about. It's that taking ACTION, right? And then that's how we become these agents of creation, right? These free agents of co-creation, is by really paying attention to what it is that we're creating and what it is that and then once we understand what we're creating, we can create something new, right? But first we have to close down all of those energies. We have to release, we have to transmute, you have to heal all of those energies that are causing us to create from that default setting, right? And so that we can then, take advantage of our ability to create from a new and healed place. And there's incredible strength that comes from this journey. This is also your guides wanting to let you know that vulnerability is strength. And so if you are feeling vulnerable today, there is incredible strength in that. So do not, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable is the epitome of strength, right? And this is a lesson that I've been learning for a very long time, because it does not always feel that way. It doesn't feel safe, right? It takes a lot of courage to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And there's a lot of strength in that courage. So somebody needed to hear that message today. It might have been me. But if it's me, there's usually other people as well, because our energy is all connected. And so nothing comes up by chance, right? We all tend to go through similar things. So it's really learning the strength in our vulnerability right now as well. And in order to heal some of this stuff that's coming up, vulnerability is necessary, even if it's just with one person, even if it's just with ourselves, right? It starts by being able to be vulnerable with ourselves. And then we reach out and we're maybe able to be vulnerable with another. And in order, right, we talked about this the other day, or no, Kayla and I talked about it. We did a live on our original channel the other day. It was really cool. It was the first time we've done that in a really long time. And yeah, it was super, super fun. But we talked about this. Now I just totally got distracted there. The vulnerability, allowing yourself, about how healers need healers too, right? And so if you are in this process of healing yourself, like, you're going to need to be able to be vulnerable with somebody in order to allow that person to assist you. But first and foremost, it's also about learning how to be vulnerable with ourselves, enough to admit, right? Admitting that we need help is vulnerability. That's admitting that feels vulnerable, right? But that's a huge step. And there's so much more strength that we then continue to acquire as we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And we understand that vulnerability does not mean victim. I think a lot of us, myself included, get that confused. And we think if I'm vulnerable, that makes me a VICTIM. But that is absolutely not true. There is incredible strength, right? You can be vulnerable and strong at the same time. Vulnerable is just when you allow somebody to see that weakness. It doesn't mean that you allow somebody to take advantage of you, but you allow them in, you allow them to get a glimpse of your true self, right? And that in and of itself is incredibly healing. And then we have the full moon completion, right? And so this is just reminding us and allowing us to know that there is stuff that's completing and closing out right now. This is the energy we're still in with this full moon. So what is wanting to be completed? What is wanting to close out here? And then I love how we have the ocean ebb and flow under that. Because this is all about cycles, right? This, when we talk about the energy of today, the galactic energy, it's all about cycles. There is a beginning, there is a middle, and there is an end, right? But the end is never really the end. It's just another beginning. And so really allowing ourselves to be where we are in our cycle, but to acknowledge and be truthful about where we are. And then to also acknowledge and understand that if we want to continue to flow, we have to be truthful about where we are. We have to allow ourselves to be a little bit vulnerable, and we have to allow ourselves to heal. We have to let something shift. We have to be willing to surrender in the way of allowing that shift to occur so that we can then move to the next phase of that cycle, right? We don't want to get stuck in one aspect of the cycle for too long, because that energy is stagnant, and it doesn't do us any favors, right? We're not making any progress, and eventually that gets painful. And when it gets painful enough, then we surrender and we allow things to flow, but we don't have to wait until it gets painful. We can do it sooner. And so that's what we learn as we continue to progress along our spiritual journey, is how to adjust our sails, how to surrender, how to approach the things, how to become vulnerable, how to approach the things that we maybe don't want to look at before they get to that point of pain. Right? And that's when the spiritual journey and our growth process begins to have more ease and grace. When we look at it before it gets to that point, right? When we look at it when it's a 3 instead of when it's a 10, if we were doing like the pain scale or something like that, right? All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you liked this reading, hit that like button. It definitely helps. Drop a comment. Let me know how today is going. I missed you guys so much. I'm so happy to be back with you. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to do so. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Yes, email down below as well. So if you're interested in the Theta healing, if you're interested in the Belvaspata, if you're interested in a personal reading or any of the other things that I do, please reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. Bye.